WV Uncommonplace. This podcast is a variety podcast that houses numerous series to cover mental health, empowerment, podcast framework, and various intimate theories to get to know the hosts. Along with occasional movies reviews and dives in pop culture with our event podcast episodes. The Uncommonplace digs into bringing guests on that stories don't fit the mold and are very different. WV stands for the great state of West Virginia, and every quarter we cover something in West Virginia. Stacey and myself, JR, are your hosts, so please come along for this venture to Uncommonplace.
I'm JR. Welcome to West Virginia Uncommonplace. And today we're embarking on a unique journey through the rise and fall of a gaming console that left an incredible mark on the industry and me. Join me as we explore the captivating story of the Sega Saturn. Now, the year was 1994, a time when gaming was repeatedly going through this evolving stage. We're going from 16-bit to 32-bit, and amongst these technological revolutions, Sega, titan in the gaming world, sought to make its mark once again, but this time around they would face a series of triumphs and tribulations like never before. Now, we're going to roll on over into 1995. Now, what you got to understand here for me is, from 94 to 95, I lost my father. So I needed a little guidance in life. So the thing that always held true to me was video games. Not the violent portion of games or anything like that, because at this time, Mortal Kombat was probably the most violent thing we had going on. So the Sega Saturn emerged in 1995, a beacon of Sega's ambition to conquer the 32-bit era before it even got started. With its powerful dual CPU architect and advanced graphics capabilities, the Sega Saturn promised gamers an unparalleled experience. Now, me, being from Virginia, but, obviously we talk about West Virginia, we're going to go into this uncommon tale here. The Sega Saturn, when it arrived, it had an impressive lineup of games ranging from thrillers like Virtual Fighter to Panzer Dragoon, and we'll dig deeper into that. The Sega Saturn seemed destined for greatness, but hidden within its journey lie a series of unforeseen challenges. As the console hit the market, it faced retail difficulties due to its surprise early release. Store shelves struggled to accommodate the unexpected arrival, leaving potential buyers perplexed. And kind of like, in our system, Walmart didn't have it like that. We had to go to a retailer called Rose's and pick this up. So I remember this because my mom was kind of like, it's not at Walmart, JR. I'm about to run somewhere else. So we went to Rose's over there in Lynchburg, Virginia, over by the movie theater, and she copped it for me. It was good. Now, Sega's marketing effort failed to effectively communicate the Sega Saturn's unique features and advantages. The lack of clarity created confusion among consumers who found it difficult to discern what the Saturn was and why it was the best choice. Meanwhile, over across the way, Nintendo decided not to use a prototype built by Sony, which would later become Sony PlayStation. And this is what happened. It came out at an affordable price, had an impressive lineup, and the PlayStation captured the hearts and minds of gamers across the nation and including West Virginia. Just put it out there like that. The Sega Saturn found itself caught in the midst of a fierce console war, struggling to regain its footing against the rising tide of the PlayStation's popularity. Despite valiant efforts, Sega faced an uphill battle they couldn't overcome. But even amongst this Sega Saturn struggle, it left an enduring impact on the gaming landscape. The console's visionary features that were cool was the Netlink, which introduced online gaming for consoles, showcased Sega's forward thinking, just poor implementation when doing this. And that's always been the problem with Sega from the time that they were riding that wave of the Mega Drive and then the Genesis. They were always a step above, but they never just, got there. Now, the Sega Saturn boasted an array of remarkable games that showcased the creativity and the talent of these developers. Titles like Nights, Into the Dreams, I remember that game. That game is still hot to this day. I got it on my Xbox 360 and on my Series X to this day. And Shining Force 3 demonstrated the console's ability to transport players to imaginary worlds. And with these games, there was Die Hard Arcade, Fighting Vipers, Sega Rally Championship, and Daytona, let's race. which was Daytona USA, and you could race with a horse on that. So it, came with a bunch of great stuff. So ultimately, after a few years, Sega made the difficult decision to discontinue the Saturn. It marked the end of an era, leaving a bittersweet legacy for gamers and enthusiasts alike. And one thing that Sega did not know that was going to happen, that this would truly be their last time having a strong console come to market. Because later on you will hear about the Sega Dreamcast, because I'm going to go ahead and do that episode today, if I have time. Now, here's the thing here. The echoes of the Sega Saturn can still be felt, and its memories live on in the hearts of collectors and gaming aficionados who cherish the console's unique contributions to the industry. Another thing that hurt the system is Panzer Dragoon Saga, which is considered one of the most valuable games of all time. And I hate to say this, when I actually sat down and got to play this, I played it. A guy had one of those Raspberry Pis, because I've seen this game in the naked, and it's like an $800-900 game, and in some instances I've seen it for $1,500, and nobody could afford it. And the sad thing is I let that game sit in a bin at EB Games for $4. I could have bought it, and I could have been really rich off of at least 10-20 copies now. My own issue there. So going further deeper, this system had the multi-tap so that you could put 6 controllers on to play Madden and play sports games. Working Design made all kinds of RPGs for this thing that made this thing out of this world. Magic Knight, Ray Earth, freaking Albert Odyssey. There were so many things that were going on for the Sega Saturn that even to this day I still don't understand why it did not last. 3D wise, it was very hard to build for, because if you look at copies of Resident Evil, you look at a copy of Grandia and different stuff like that, you can see the graphical equivalency of what the PlayStation could do over that. And the sprite-based stuff looked fairly good on there, but it was nowhere near what the 2D stuff looked like on Sega Saturn, because Sega Saturn had a way with things. But anyway, this is just a quick one about the Sega Saturn, the rise and fall of the Sega Saturn. If you get a chance, definitely go out and check out one. And once again, this is West Virginia Uncommonplace, your guide through the extraordinary tales of West Virginia and pop culture and beyond. And until next time, keep seeking the uncommon in the world around you.
Please follow WV Uncommonplace on Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, TikTok, where we have some great content, Facebook, LinkedIn. Hit up the merch store at oncommonplace.square.site. Join the email list from the website, and rate, subscribe, and give feedback from your favorite podcatcher. And lastly, thanks for listening, and tune into the next episode.